It's my perspective. Yeah, from my perspective. It's my perspective. Yeah, yo, am I wrong or is it just you? Or did my life show me some things that gave me my view? And if I went through what you went through, would I be you? I don't know. That's too many questions with no answer, but plenty chances for many lessons. Am I willing to learn that it's all perception? That the picture that I paint ain't the one that you sketching? So can we disagree without drawing a weapon? Long as I can understand that it's just your perspective. Yeah, it's my perspective. Yeah, from my perspective.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to My Perspective Live with Jackson, Jenny, Ian, Keone, and Big Russ. Ian is missing for a second because his uncle rebooted his computer and the entire internet in the entire house, and he did not know. So, without further ado, we're going to get into our topic today: the self-checkout scanners, the inconvenience of being convenienced, or the convenience of being inconvenienced, with our host, Lynn.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Good to see you. Good to see you. I don't know who came up with this topic, but I've got to tell you, I've had plenty of moments standing in the self checkout line going, why am I in the self checkout line? I don't know about y'all, but I kind of feel like give me a discount since I'm doing the work on my end. But I don't know. I don't know how the rest of my team feels. I'm sure they've all got something to say here.
Well, first
Well,
of
I
all,
can't stand it.
you know damn well who came up with the topic. So,
Well, that part. You know, there's been a lot of talk about instances in terms of how retailers are treating us because of self checkout. There are comments that we have ourselves. I want to hear from the rest of my team because I tell you, I'm scratching my head some days.
well,
It's
I'm a
it's a
union
nightmare.
person. I've been union the whole time I was at UPS. I don't believe in taking somebody's job away from them, and
Mm.
that's exactly what they're doing. Because I
Absolutely.
went to Walmart the other day, and like I said, the line on the
Yeah, I
self
can hear
check,
you. Yes.
and it was backed way up, and they only had two checkers. Of all the 18 or 20 checkout places, they only had two going. I just I don't believe in that stuff. People need a job.
Is my phone in the correct?
you were, hold on, darn it. Yeah, you're good. You're good, September. Just stay right there. Russell, I totally get what you're saying, and you're perfectly right. One of the complaints is there's not a lot of jobs. Well, that's one way to get jobs. My biggest problem with self checkout, and the reason why we're doing this episode is number one, it entices people to steal because I believe I
Ah,
can't be the only one that started out when self checkout started with the rule of I'm gonna scan this one or two times, and if it doesn't work, it's going in the basket. That's number one. And then number two, everybody's internet's going out. What is happening? It's an epidemic. Um, but what they've discovered also is sometimes the self checkout is wrong.
Yeah.
People have been getting in trouble for scanning all their items, paying for it. They haven't been stopped on the way out. And then a policeman showing up to their door 2 or 3 weeks later with a warrant for their arrest or a fine and a trespassing notice for shoplifting because the scanner is saying that something wasn't scanned. And they have also found out that Walmart has collected a lot of money because what they'll do is they'll send you a letter saying we will drop these charges if you pay this fine. And they've collected something like $2.4 million dollars over the
wow.
last couple
Yeah.
of years from people who actually did not commit a crime.
Yeah. This starts to lead us to the whole question that many of us had years ago about Big Brother. Always being watched, always
Uh-huh.
being viewed, all of that. I just don't know at some point how much is too much. Who do you trust after a while? How much is too much knowledge about what you're doing?
Well, and it seems like everybody, every credit card company or everything is looking to sell our information to somewhere. So how much is really private?
Ain't none of it private
Nothing.
anymore.
No,
No such
absolutely
thing as
nothing. It's
private.
all about control.
Well, I got to say, that's the world that we're living in. So, how do we live with it? How do we work with it?
Well, there are things that we can do ourselves. Like the problem is, not enough people aren't gonna do it. I guarantee you, if everybody stopped using the self checkout and go and line up at those registers,
Yep.
they've even had it from some reports that in some cities, especially rural areas, where stores have taken out half of their self checkouts that they've spent money putting in.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. But you know what? When you go to the store and you're making the decision on where to go to check out, what's it typically based on?
Length
what's
of the
quick?
line.
Length of the line, yeah.
The length of the line. So, does that say something about what our checkers are doing?
I don't even know
Yeah.
if you can call them checkers anymore.
Well, they're called cashiers at
Our
and,
cashiers, are they
and
getting us
packers.
through fast enough? You know, I just want to say that for me, I think customer service has really gone down the tube since
Whoa,
COVID.
whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm going to defend customer service people for
Okay,
a
come
second
on now.
because customer service has not gone down the tube as much as customers have gone down
Ah,
the tube.
okay, okay.
Customers have really, the person who made the saying that customers always right was not prepared for 2019 on. And the reason thing is,
Exactly.
customers have been like this. It's just we have cell phones now. The amount of times that I have to defend, and some of my friends know this, I am the customer service defender when I'm at the store because grown-ups act a damn fool.
Yep.
Yep.
Why are you cursing the customer service person out because you don't have your receipt? It's been more than 90 days because the thing you bought doesn't have batteries when on the package it says
No
batteries not
battery.
included.
Right,
Mhm.
Yep.
right. All
Yep.
of that. All of that, or you get to when you're checking something out, there are times I've seen folks that they just have no patience, they got no time. It's like everything is hurry up. So you go to the checkout line, the self checkout, then you have
Well,
too many scanning issues.
Well, hold on, because we're bouncing topics. So let's get back to this customer service.
Okay.
So, Timber, what do you think about customers and customer service? Who do you think is more at fault in this day and age?
Between the customer and the customer service,
Mm-hmm.
I would say the customer is always right. I would say that only because you as an employee, like you should already know how to deal with certain type of customers in a position like that.
Mm.
So what do you do when they don't know how to deal with those customers?
Then they shouldn't have that type of job.
See,
Not ours, Mac.
the only reason why I disagree is because number one, I think that's and I'm not it's not against you, September. It's because that's been the idea since the inception of the customer's always right. But like anything we do in America, we take it for freaking granted. I do not like watching someone making $12 an hour be berated and insulted as if they don't have any dignity because you're a customer.
Right.
And that's what I see sometimes when I'm sitting at in a fast food line or I'm sitting. Give you a prime example. I'm in CVS a month ago. This lady, first of all, if you're grocery shopping at CVS with a tire basket, there's a problem. She comes up to the counter and she wants a refund of all the stuff. The lady says, hey, if you bring it back tomorrow, you'll get a full refund. But if you return it all now, you're going to lose the $60 you just saved in coupons because within 24 hours.
Okay.
Mm.
To make the story short, she repeats this 5 times to this lady. My friend goes, hey, Keone, there's a self checkout open. I said, nope, I want to see where this is going. So
Uh-oh.
she says it 5 times to this lady. The lady is hell bent on getting her stuff exchanged today. So this lady has to go in and manually return about 40 items. Okay. Then she hands the lady the money. The first words out of this lady's mouth is, I got less money back than what I paid. She said, ma'am, I just explained it to you a couple times. She said, why would I do my exchange today if I'm not going to get back all my money? And I just yelled to the top of my lungs, she told you 7 times what to do. Get out of the line.
Yep.
And the lady
Tragic.
ran
So
out of
it
the
depends on the customer. It does.
For
Oh
It,
yeah.
sure.
yeah, it definitely depends on the customer, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But,
It
I
does.
think that we do have a lot of where we are is not just a function of the customer service, the cashiers, but I'm going to go with Kiani. It's definitely got a lot to do with what our customers have been doing. I mean, one of the things that probably more than self checkout that appalls me is having to have everything locked up. That when I need something, I got to wait for somebody to come open a cabinet for me to get it, you know. And it's
Convenience.
like I might as well have shopped online, but then I got to pay the fee to get it to me. So
Mm-hmm.
which way are we going? Which way are we going?
Yeah.
Well, they have to lock those things up because people are just walking with the stuff.
Yep.
Yeah,
They feeling.
So, I mean, it is a business. They can't just let it all leave the front door without being paid for. They have to secure their inventory some way. They can't
yeah.
count on their employees, and they got to lock it up.
Unfortunately, all of this is costing all of us more money.
trying to lock it up. They act like shoplifters just were invented last week.
They've been
They
around.
got they
They're
got
just getting a
nine
little more bold, I think.
they got nine
I
hundred.
think they only getting bold because they have a strict rule that they can't chase them or they
Yep.
can't like follow them out of the store if they do steal. So that's probably why the amount of stealing is like maybe skyrocketed is because people know that like they're not going to chase them. They're not going to chase them out the store.
I had a part time job at Lowe's, and we were told directly you will not engage a customer. You won't try and stop them from leaving the store. All
Mm-hmm.
you can do is watch them and try and get a good description of them. And I was like, that's just plain stupid because we'd see guys come in there with that big old flatbed cart and put $600 saws on there or a lawnmower and just walk right out the door because they knew we couldn't stop them. What I'm supposed to do? Give them a high five as they walk through the door with
No,
this stuff? I was like,
you let that camera see him. You let that camera get that license plate and that truck description, and
Yep.
you let them go to jail for
You let
stealing
them
stupid lawnmowers.
Yep.
Right, right. So
go.
let
Yeah.
me ask you, what do you think this is one of those, is the cart before the horse or the horse before the cart? Did we go to an increased number of self checkout lines as a way for companies to save money in terms of employees? Or did we end up doing more self checkout because fewer people wanted the jobs at the salaries they
Tuh,
were getting paid?
that ain't it.
I think it all started during COVID and they just never went back to it because of how much like they didn't have to pay an employee to come in. So they wanted it took over. It just kind of like just took over out of nowhere.
Well, they used COVID as an excuse because they started putting them in
Right.
before COVID,
yeah,
and they started getting more and more. And then when COVID happened, they're like, aha.
nothing
Yeah,
And
done.
it's a disguise to say they did it to make it more convenient for us, but
convenient. Yeah.
we all know what it's for.
Well, touchless. I think it's touchless. It's kind of like where you get to help yourself and they don't have to touch your stuff. So I don't know, like kind of like the
That's what
germ.
they disguise it as, but it's so that they don't have to pay. Because if you're not paying employees, you're not paying for medical and health insurance, you're not
Hmm.
paying for
Right.
health insurance, you're
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
paying someone a salary or an hourly pay. So you cut out a lot of your money.
So
yeah,
I would love to see the analysis on how much they saved in employees' benefits and pay over the theft that they're experiencing now. I'll bet
yeah.
you that their loss is
They lost more.
That's
possibly
my
more.
my view of it as well.
Forget all of that noise. I'd like to see the margin of as to how much they've spent on these new advancements of self checkout, but they still can't up the tap to pay.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
For real, because
oh,
Walmart,
Jackson.
you gotta have a
Oh,
card
Jackson.
at Walmart.
You
Yes,
just hit a sore spot for me. I didn't know this whole time that Walmart doesn't have tap pay.
they don't. Oh my
I
It's
goodness.
the
Right.
only place that does it. Target has it. If I'm not mistaken, ShopRite has it.
I
What is it?
feel
All
the
has
entire
it.
cart
I
and
think
got to
Walmart
the
is the
front.
only place that don't have it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Okay,
insane.
I'm going to be a dummy here. What are you talking about now?
When you can take your card and just stick it
Like
up to the machine, you don't have to put it in the machine. It can just read it
off your
and
phone.
charge you.
Or you can read it off your phone or off your card.
Yeah, like you could
Okay,
just tap your phone on a little device that's on the little keypad,
right.
and then they'll take it from there. But at Walmart, you have to insert your card. Like
Yep.
you can't
Right. Or
check
like
out
I've got
without an
my
actual
entire
physical
wallet.
card. But
Like I've got
tapping
my
is what
debit
has
card,
to
my
happen.
credit card, some rewards cards. If I don't feel like pulling my wallet out of my pocket, all I gotta do is select the card and tap my phone near the scanner and I can pay that way.
That's
Yeah,
me, Jackson. That's
that's
me
me
all
too.
day.
Here you
Yeah.
go, Jenny. Jenny, this is for you. I'd love to hear your response. Walmart has faced significant losses due to the theft at its self-checkout stations, with an estimates ranging from 3 billion annually to 6.5 billion in 2023. So the number one loss of theft in terms of money that this particular store and other stores have is people doing it the old fashioned way, stealing something off the shelf and putting it in their pocket. That's actually less than people stealing from the self checkout.
Mm,
Okay. Well, to save either way, put the employees back. You're
Yeah.
bound to save more money in the long run by
Hmm.
paying them, having them to watch and see what is going on. If you want to still use the self checkouts,
You should have be
put
able.
more people there to watch.
Hmm.
I
There's
mean,
people
you're
there.
giving
They're
them
not
jobs
watching.
and you're saving money. So, I mean, come on. Like
I agree. I think they need to bring back the
you're shooting
employee.
yourself in the foot.
hmm Absolutely. You know, and not only that, but quite frankly, technology is technology. Stuff
Right.
happens, glitches happen. It doesn't scan,
Absolutely.
it doesn't read the package the right way. You got people that are confused about how to scan it, when to put it in.
Hmm.
And then you got to wait for somebody to come and adjust your checkout.
Or here's the fun part, the
Yeah.
products that have multiple barcodes on it, because I've scanned the wrong
The
barcode
wrong
before.
code.
Oh yes, for
Right.
sure.
You know
Yeah.
what they should do to prove this don't work? Let's do self check in at the airports. Let's see how that works.
Self
Right.
check in.
Wasn't
Don't
there
they have
already
that
a
though, where you can
system
self
in
check
time
in?
with less security?
What'd
I
you
thought
say?
they have self check in
No,
at
no,
the
no, no, no,
airport.
no, no. I'm not talking about self check in and get your board pass. I'm talking about self check in to get your board pass, self check in yourself through security, and self check in yourself on this plane. And let's see
Oh,
how it
okay.
works.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
I feel
they're
like
not
we're
going to do that.
describing pre 9/11, and I don't think we need to go
Yes.
back to that.
I would like,
Keone's trying to
Right.
set up some knife fights, is what he's trying to do.
Exactly.
no,
That'd be a straight up battle,
what I'm setting up is my free flight
Snakes on a
stick.
plane.
Right, right. There
right?
you did you say free flight?
Yeah, I'm setting up my free flights as I self check myself on into this plane to Los
Right, right.
Angeles.
I'm getting ready to just roll right on board.
Yeah. Hmm.
Because
Yeah.
no, the thing about it is you have all of these barcodes on these packages, and you don't tell them as to what it is. There's a video out there, and there's plenty of people utilizing this saying. If I scan it 2 or 3 times and it don't scan, at
It's
that point,
free.
because I'm not scanning it again.
It's free.
Right.
Right. Yes.
It's mine now. Right, right, right.
Or if
If
you're
I
one
need
I
to
big,
have
scan it
texted.
4 times, send me my check because I practically work here now.
Yes.
so Russ, what do you think about this? So if you're thinking about, well, how are they losing so much more money at the self checkout than people just regularly stealing? When you're regularly stealing stuff, you can only put a certain size stuff in your purse, your pocket, your sleeve, or whatever. But when you take, a giant ribeye and then you put a Lipton tea packet under it and scan it, that's so much easier to steal.
Yeah, it's like how they doing is
Definitely.
they'll grab two items and they'll
Mhm.
scan the one and then put it in the bag.
Yep.
Yep.
And that's how and then when they do their inventory of the items, then that's how they're noticing that they're losing a lot more money
Yeah.
is because of how people are scanning the items.
Now it doesn't work at Lowe's grocery store because that little smart aleck machine, when you scan the product and put it in the bag, it takes the weight.
Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
Mhm.
yes. That's
So yeah, so if you're supposed to have a jar of bleach and you put a little tea bag in there, it's going to say, please place the item in the bag.
right.
Mhm.
Well,
It
Right.
does.
Kroger's
Yeah.
how Kroger's do it is that, like, if you, like, say for instance you scan and then you scan it, like you scan and then you like moving real fast, it'll tell you like, okay, please place the item back, but then it'll clear out. It'll clear out even if you don't grab it back that you didn't scan. It'll clear out and then it'll let you keep scanning.
Or what if you
Yeah.
getting items in bulk, like the little canisters of like the Kool-Aid powder and everything, but you getting two or three of them, and you sit there
Mhm.
and you scan one 3 times, it'll say, "Oh, improperly done."
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, because you're not scanning the individual items, but you're placing them in the thing. You got to scan each item one
Well,
by
Russ, you know why they're not doing it right, Russ? Because we're not bag boys and cashiers. That's why.
Yep.
Well, now I had an argument with the machine at the research today.
An argument with the
Who won that
machine.
argument?
The machine did.
Wait. I gotta hear
Because
the argument.
it
Walk us
kept
through
telling
this.
me to stick it in the bag, and I said, I can't open the damn bag. Only have one hand.
Don't tell me where to stick it.
Yeah. And then the lady came over here, let me help you with the bag. I said, that's the reason we need to have regular checkouts because I can't get the damn bags to work.
Oh, no.
Everybody has fought with those plastic bags.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
it.
They
Yes.
getting thinner and thinner. They gonna start ripping.
Yep.
I'm gonna tell you that whole weight thing always tickles me when you
Yeah.
scan something and it says, "Did you put it in the bag? Are you putting it?" And I'm like, "Yes, it's in the bag." So I think we've all, Russ, had our conversations with the machine. You
Yeah.
Oh
know,
yes.
especially when it keeps telling you to start again or scan it again, and you're
Yeah.
like, "Why? I don't know what's going on." So
What
then I want to
irks
go back to the regular cashier and let you do it.
me,
But
right?
I
What
will,
irks me
That's it. I mean,
Jackson. What were you saying?
Because no, what irks me is when you go into the store, you see all of the different areas where they could have people ready to take customers, right? Like the lanes
Yeah.
where you get your item
Oh yeah.
scanned, but they choose to only have the self checkout open. And even at that, only a certain number of self checkouts are properly working. This
Mhm.
one's not taking
Yes.
card. This one's not taking cash. I had an instance where I was going in to get one singular thing, and I scanned it and I go to put it into the bagging area. Only one singular thing, mind you, and it said item improperly scanned, possible theft detected. I've never looked to an attendant and held up a singular item. She looked at me, looked at the item, looked at the screen, looked back to me, and looked at that little phone that they keep in their hands and said, "Move along."
Right.
Right, right.
Yeah.
It was a lot. Again, data in, data out. Whatever happens is only as good as what's been put into the system, what comes out of the system. And then what about when you're supposed to scan and there ain't nothing to scan? And you don't know how to find what your
Your
vegetables are, your
produce.
produce are.
well,
You know
what
Yes.
what?
it's telling
That's
you
the
is you
part I
didn't get
hate.
enough.
Do what I do. Pick the smallest vegetable on there. No,
Yeah.
Right. Weigh it.
And
Yeah.
go
really?
and go two of them, one of these, right.
Even if you get in a
Here's a,
regular watermelon, ring it up as seedless.
Yes. Yeah.
here's another problem for you guys to consider. What has also been on the rise is people putting illegal scanners on the
Mm.
credit card machine at the self checkout because there's no cashier there. So what
Oh.
they're doing is they're standing there with three people. One's bagging groceries, one's distracting, and one's putting the device on the credit card machine. So
Are
everybody
you
who comes in afterwards is getting their credit card information stolen.
are
Yep.
you serious?
Absolutely.
Yes, it's not Walmart
Wow.
stealing your information. It's the credit card readers, the same ones they put on gas pumps that are stealing people's information. There's videos on YouTube from Law and Crime that shows you how they're doing it. But it's at the
That
self
happened to my
checkout.
oldest brother.
So how do they
And
go back and get it? So they wait and
they
then
don't need to go back and get it. That device can stay there until it's found and thrown away. The information is being sent. It's not like the information is being
oh okay.
Yep.
stored, it's being sent.
Yep.
Wow.
They never
It's being
have to go back and get it.
That is
yeah. That happened to my
well.
oldest brother because he went into the store at one point in time in order to buy some groceries. He got his items, but he went back to check the balance on his card because he wanted to go to a different store. They drained him of everything that was in the account.
Mm.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep.
And
So
when you go
now,
back to the store, they say there's nothing they can do to help you.
but now see, that brings up a whole nother conversation. And Keone, you can say no, we'll save that for another time. But when you think about it, a lot of this is all because you have, yes, we got criminals, we got people that just think I want to get away with what I can get away with. But the other part is, I would imagine there's a significant number of people that feel like they have to steal it, they have to because they simply cannot afford it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I agree and disagree.
Okay.
I'm 46, so statute of limitations. When I was way, way younger in the teens and we didn't kind of have money, I did walk out of the store with a couple things. But just like this lady I saw arrested in the video the other day, and the cop was right. He said, "So why did you steal?" She goes, "We're down on our luck. We have three kids." He's like, "I understand, but you needed ribeye? Couldn't just get hamburger meat. You needed ribeye. Well,
Right.
and you needed a cat tree. Well, our cats don't have anything to play with. Okay. Oh, filet mignon. You needed that too, right? You couldn't just steal the cheap steak. You had to get filet mignon. So some
Well, if
people,
you're going to do it, you do it.
yeah, some people are stealing because I'm not advocating stealing, but it's their last resort, and some people are just thieves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely thieves. Yes, for
Well, you
sure.
can always think of it. If
You've
I'm going to
got
go to jail, I'm going to
kleptomaniacs,
go to
and
jail
you've
for
got the
something.
people that are desperate.
What'd you say,
Yep.
Russ?
Well, I said, if I'm going to jail, I'm going to get the high dollar steaks that I'm going to jail for, not hamburgers.
Well, you say that until you realize there's a difference between a misdemeanor and a felony.
Hmm.
Right. Right.
Right. Right. You know.
Well, that may be how they're thinking too.
Well, if I might be going down, I'm going down big, right?
That's
Right.
right.
Oh my!
Oh my goodness, I don't know. It's just a crazy world, a crazy universe. So who fixes it? Where does the balance come from?
They have to
I don't
repent.
know if you can get a balance in it.
Russ, what did you say?
I said, I don't know if you could get a balance in it.
You
Mm,
can,
You
we can't.
can't. Mm.
you can. You know
Sure,
what
you
you can
can.
do? You need to stop this, but corporations aren't going to do it. They need to stop trying to run every single store the same. That's what store managers used to do.
Right.
How should my store be ran in my area? So, hey, maybe I have four self checkouts in my area and then I still have 10 cashiers. Maybe in your area you don't need 10 cashiers because you never are a packed house like that. But in some places, you need that. We've all been to a store where it's dead in there in certain cities and places, and we've all been to the store and there's like 50 people trying to check out and there's two cashiers.
Right.
So get back to letting the
Right.
manager of the store run the
Yep.
store
Man.
conducive for that area.
I
And
agree.
that's what some of the stores in Missouri I saw. They had some stores that they took the self checkouts out
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because it was hurting them more than it was helping them. But you know who also helped the self checkout employees want the self checkout? These damn Karens.
Hmm.
Uh-oh. Come on now.
They're out there.
Come on now. Speak on it, Keone.
But it's just true, though.
What'd you say, Jenny?
It's true. I said it's just true, though. There's
Oh,
always a Karen somewhere that's gonna make it even worse, regardless.
at
It's
Lowe's.
when the Karen is employed at the location. I can't stand that.
That's why they call me the. I always. That's why they call me the customer service
Yeah.
where I was at Lowe's one time. And no, it wasn't Lowe's, it was Food Lion. And this lady, you know how some people have their own grocery bags, they have their own bags. So she kept going to the bag boy and redoing everything. And the bag boy was doing it fine. I used to be a bag boy. He was putting everything the way it's supposed to go. So she walks back to the cashier and she huffs. And the cashier goes, "What's wrong?" She goes, "Not only do I have to pay for my own groceries, I have to bag my own groceries." And I said, "Wow." And she looks at me and she goes, "I know, right?" I said, "Yeah, there's people dying in other countries and walking 20 miles to get fresh water. But in America, we got to pay for our own groceries and bagging them. How sucks it for us?
Oh,
This,
first
Yes.
world problems.
Yep. Yep.
Yes. It's
like,
ridiculous.
come on.
There,
Absolutely.
there's simply a point in time, though. My biggest thing is I don't mind self checkout because I can get myself out faster than I seem to get out when I'm going through the line. But I resent I'm paying the same amount of money as the person that goes. If I do self checkout, I don't get a discount for doing somebody else's job. So I feel like if I'm paying for it in the groceries, let me go stand in the regular line and let the work be done for me. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I just get tired of paying doing what somebody else should be getting paid to do.
So you don't want to go to the restaurant, order your food, go cook it, and then serve yourself?
No.
No,
No, no.
no.
That's
I
the reason
mean,
I
but
go to a
I
restaurant.
feel like I'm
It's
paying.
pointless to go.
I feel like that's what I'm paying for when I go to a restaurant and order something. I'm paying for them to cook it and serve it and bring it to the table, right?
And you
Yes.
don't have to do the dishes when you're done.
And
Absolutely.
I don't have to do the
Exactly.
dishes. I'm paying for all of that. That's built into the
Unless
price.
your card gets declined, you might be doing dishes.
Well, that might be true, but we haven't had that as an issue yet.
I have a
But
comment from the audience. They want us to talk more about what was brought up earlier about the $2.4 million collected by Walmart from people who actually were not guilty of self checkout. I lost the article, but a woman was awarded $1.4 million
yeah,
for being wrongfully accused from stealing from Walmart. Now
Oh wow.
that's so I'm trying to. Why can't that happen to me?
Telling you.
Right.
Can she go back to Walmart,
What do you mean, like
or
ever
does she get
again?
banned?
She's got $1.4 million. She can shop at Publix now. She doesn't have to go to
she doesn't
Walmart.
go to Walmart. She
I'm
doesn't
not rich enough to
go
stop
to
at
Walmart.
Publix.
Hey,
The
people
deli
shop
my
at
favorite
Walmart
location.
too,
She ain't gonna
apparently.
give them back their money.
That's
No.
what I'm saying. They say, "Come on back."
So, but this is actually a problem. You, again, as said earlier, you have people that check out. Okay, so let's say this happens to you, Jenny. You go to Walmart, you get $126 worth of items, you scan it all properly, you paid for it all, you got your receipt, you get home. 3 weeks later, you got a knock on the door and it's a sheriff there to arrest you because you were shoplifting.
First off, I'm a little bit pissed off, to be honest.
Right.
Um, um, second, it just creates more drama and more inconvenience because then I have to go through the court system and I have to go through, getting a lawyer or trying to prove my innocence when I already know dang gone well I did exactly what I was supposed to. So it's
Ah,
ridiculous and more control and more money for the government in
I
all the
get,
in
you know what?
the
But
long
Jenny,
run.
you can avoid all that because September, if it happens to you, you can avoid what Jenny just went through because Walmart will send you a letter that says if you pay this $200 fine, we will go ahead and drop all charges and you will not be prosecuted.
Not at this address.
I
Mm-mm.
would definitely,
Ah,
You must have
okay.
that on video and you can prove it because I ain't paying you
they're
a
gonna
damn
have
thing
I'm
until
they're
you
not
gonna
can
have
prove
paying
it.
any.
Right.
yeah.
What
I
is
might
this, bribery?
take it to court, especially if I
Like,
know I have not done that. I did not steal a thing. Yes.
Well, that's what they're banking on. People who can't afford a lawyer, even if you get a public defender, going to court. Some people can. It's a hassle for them, and they just send the $200. And like I said, Walmart collected $2.4 million in wrongfully accused money, and they're not giving that money back.
Well, now,
it's
see,
ridiculous.
with what goes on these days, if I'd have gotten a letter like that, I would have thought it was a scam anyway.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
you get those kind, I've gotten those before. You didn't show up for court, and I'm like, what court are we talking about? What day? And if you pay this money, we won't do. And so those, I would have ignored it. So then they really would have had to come after me because
Not at this address.
Like a ransom note.
Oh yeah, it's a what do they call it? It's a certified letter, so it's not one of those ones that you just write and throw in an envelope and send. But that's just insane that you have to because the camera, and it's not the scanner that was the problem in these situations. It was the camera that's angled watching your hands.
Right.
Hmm.
Right.
Okay,
watching
now
your
I've watched
hands do what?
watching you scan as it scans across the bar.
It looked like you skipped something, but you didn't.
But I've seen people just grab that gun and just scan everything while it's in the cart and then pay
'Cause-
and go. But you watch those
right.
people, they don't scan everything. And then they walk right past the person at the door saying, "Hey, can I see your receipt?" If they ask to see your receipt. And then they just walk right out with it. They're not even scanning everything. They don't even take it out of the cart.
Two,
Everybody
two
knows
is
how to do.
adding up right now, though, because let's talk about that fairly quickly and open up that dialogue. You have a camera pointed to see whether or not my hands are scanning items, right? You also have a system that prints out the receipt and lets you know of as to how much money I just spent in your store. Do me a favor and seeing if as to how you want to go back and check your inventory. Double check to make sure that everything that I walked out that store with is missing off of your inventory and everything that's on my receipt, that of which you see on camera, me scanning, matches up. Because I work customer service. That's a stepping stone job, right? Everybody that's a teenager has gotten a customer service job, whether or not it's
Yep.
fast food, working, bagging, something, anything along those lines.
Yep.
I've had a friend that of which had $40 in fake $20 bills getting charged for that, even though that wasn't her fault. Because some of these places don't like for you to use a counterfeit pen, that of which I find ridiculous. But even still, it's just that doesn't make any sense. If you have the audacity, the gumption, the gall to go back and look at your security cameras and tell me that I'm stealing on video, show me my receipt and let me know as to what I did not pay for.
That sounds great, but here's the
Absolutely.
problem. Here's the problem. They're going to say in the camera that you stole an item, and there's no guarantee that you have your receipt 3, 4 weeks, sometimes 5 weeks later. Who keeps their Walmart receipt for 3, 4 weeks? Not
I take
everybody. You might, not everybody.
Keep it
And
3 or
then
4 minutes.
it's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, but you're being dragged to court as guilty, and now you have to prove your innocence. That's still
Without a
the problem.
question.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I guess for me, the best thing is look, I'm going to check this before I leave because I don't want nobody having any issues. But at the same token, what do you do? What do you do? You know, except for continue to declare your innocence and make them prove to you what you did incorrectly.
Yeah. I'm innocent until proven guilty.
Yep.
Especially if I know I didn't do something.
Exactly.
Right. Right.
Absolutely.
Well, that's the problem I'm saying. September is right. And Jackson's right, and Jenny's right. You're innocent to prove guilty, but hell, you just open a letter and it says you're guilty.
Right.
I'm like, well, look like we're going to court.
I was about to say, who told this letter it could be judge, jury, and executioner? You can't tell me that I'm guilty of something that of which you don't even have evidence of me doing. But yes, if I'm in Jenny's situation, all right, officer, I see you got the warrant for my arrest. Let's take a ride real quick. Read me my
Yep.
Miranda rights. I'm not
Yeah.
saying a thing to you up until I get my lawyer, and then once the evidence is on the table, I'm countersuing for defamation of character.
What
You've
happened?
brought me out of my house. I probably had to go to work today, so that's lost wages. I'm assuming for emotional distresses and anything else that I can get my hands on. You gonna run me a check.
You
Right.
know, if Jackson talks to the officer
Yes.
in that tone, he might not make it down to the station.
Jackson, you're going to be my lawyer.
All I know is this. You're going to have to prove to me what I took unless you want, because it's too late for you to get the groceries back I ate. So you're going
Put
to
the
have
cup
to,
in my back pocket. Let's go.
you
I
know,
can give you the leftovers. Give me a minute.
okay.
Whoa.
Right, exactly.
Hello.
Exactly. I got something for you. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. Oh, you want some
Pass the
grapes?
philosophy then. You could get traces of what he ate.
Well, it's not only the workers. It's like being at the airport when you're in the self checkout line and you're actually in a hurry. And I know that's nobody else's fault, and you have people there that look like they can't even. I mean, there's four of you and you all look confused. Scan the barcode, even if it's the wrong one. Let's keep it moving.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Absolutely.
Like, what are we
Yeah.
doing? And then they scan everything, and then it's like, oh, we went over. We need help. Can you take these items off? So then they take those items off. Wait, add this one back. And it's like, oh my God, come on.
Yeah, there can be a lot of confusion. There can be a lot of confusion. I mean, I know there are times I've almost, if I didn't really look back at the buggy, I might have had a case of water underneath. And I wasn't trying to steal it. I just forgot it was down there to
What
scan.
date was this?
Huh? What day
What date was this in what store?
What's your address? I'm going to send you a letter real quick.
Okay,
Some other
all
dollars
right,
we can
all
clean
right.
this up.
Now I
But
want
you
to
all have
ask.
to house
I
in
want to
Drake
ask
County.
Russ. I want to ask Russ, Jackson, and Jenny in September something. How do y'all feel about Lynn and Ian not messaging y'all that there was a certain color they were going to wear today? They
When you
just left
know,
it
you
all out.
know.
Yeah, really.
I don't know. I would kind of be upset if I didn't get that memo.
Well, I didn't get the memo either.
Great minds think alike.
I didn't
Well,
get
Me
the memo
personally,
either.
because that's
I
one of
got
my
some
favorite
red in
colors.
here.
I can't stand
See
Russ.
the red?
Oh my god!
me personally, seeing it as to how I teach
I
that,
was told
don't
wear
necessarily try to
black
dress like
every time,
anybody
like
else.
so you won't go wrong. Just put on something black.
Mm.
Does
Hard to
Absolutely.
go
anybody have
wrong
an
with that.
Does anybody have an issue when you do have a bunch of stuff from Walmart and they stop you at the front and ask to see your receipt? I only have one issue. They look at my receipt and they scan it like they looked at everything and say go. It's like you there's no way you looked at all the
Right,
stuff
there's
I had.
no way.
Yeah.
There's no
That's
There's
what I
no
way.
was
way.
saying before. I've watched people steal things. They ask them for their receipt, look at it, and send them on their way.
Hmm.
Like,
Right.
do they know or are they doing anything? Nothing.
I've
You don't
never
get paid
And they
enough
be
to
the
write about
oldest
the
people
fact
at
is
the
the thing,
door doing
though.
it. Like
Well,
they be like 80 years old at the door with that. Like they can't chase nobody. Like if they walking out the door.
That's the
Am I
thing, though.
lying? Am I lying? I'm telling the truth.
No,
Right.
you're not, because the greeters and everything do what they're supposed to do. Hi, welcome to Walmart. Thank you. Have a nice day. Let me see your receipt real quick. Up the road, they
Right.
literally put
Right.
stickers on the things that you can't put in a bag. The
Yeah.
cases of soda, the packages of water, all of that. If you don't got a sticker, you got to go back and scan it all over again. But even still, if they wanted security, they would have hired security. And
Yeah.
you don't get paid
They
enough
don't.
to worry about people stealing.
Now that's one of the things I discovered that when more that items like case packs of soda, and water, and things like that that didn't go in the bag, people
Mhm.
they would put stickers on
Yeah,
and
the paid sticker on it.
right,
Yeah.
and if they didn't have the paid sticker, you had to go back where they started really investigating your
Hmm.
receipt and so forth, But very interesting. I'm gonna tell you at a self checkout, I had a interesting experience. I was checking out, and it always amazes me when you can review stuff and say what I did wrong. That means I owe you more money, but you can't review anything fast enough to give me money back that I
Hmm.
didn't get. I self checked
Right.
out one time and I forgot that I had asked for cash back and I
Okay.
left. When I called the store, they had to go through running all the videos, checking everything so they could see that I had actually not picked up my money from the machine. And it took me 2 days for them to go, oh, you didn't get your money back. But
Yeah.
if I was trying to steal something, or you thought I stole something, you'd be checking me out right away. That's
Hmm.
one of the things I have an issue with. When there's a mistake, you can't give me my money back right away, but you can
You
sure
can set
take
a
it fast.
protocol of their priority list. It's crazy.
You can sure take it fast enough.
What
I think
boggles me,
that's.
right?
Go ahead, Jackson.
Yeah, what boggles me, right, is I had this instance where I was at self checkout and I forgot my wallet in the car. So I asked one of the attendants, could you watch my cart while I run out to my car really quick? She said, oh, sure. I come back and she says, oh, I scanned everything for you. I'm sorry, I'm at self checkout. I didn't know I was at one of the lanes where you scan the items for me. If you could have done this the whole time, why is it one of the lines open? But
Yeah.
Hmm.
secondary, we also had the singular interval where the woman got stopped and accused of shoplifting, and she wasn't even the one that scanned her items. It was one of the people that worked there in the first place.
Mm.
Wow.
What if it was something that I might wanted to put back and you just scanned it?
Exactly. I ain't know that I had all the money that I needed in order to pay for everything. I
I
wanted to
don't.
see what I needed and
I
didn't.
don't think that one takes the vitriol because I feel like she was just trying to be helpful.
Yeah, I think so. I think
It
she
was
was trying to be helpful
But
too.
I do get your point of, well, hell, why didn't I? What, again, so Jackson, you have two things there. One, I just think she was trying to be helpful. But two, to your point, if we could have just did that from the beginning, I didn't need to be in his self checkout line.
Right, right. Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. And then
Somebody
it would have been when it was time to pay that I would have realized, oh,
Mhm.
you got to wait for me to go get my wallet.
I
Well,
don't
we
want
don't have to do that anymore now, Jackson, right? Because everything's
Hold
on
up that
our phone.
phone.
Exactly. It's
Right.
technically now, but long do I dread the days that of which you were told, stand here and wait. I gotta go back and get some bread when I was like 8 years old.
Oh no,
Right.
no, no,
Keep
no,
my
no.
place in line.
You don't have to go back to that. This was a week ago, and I wanted to murder this lady. And I'm sorry. I should take that back. I wanted to murder her instantly. She paid for $7.80 worth of stuff. And when she opened that checkbook to write a check, I almost died in line.
a checkbook. Yeah, I ain't seen a check.
What's a checkbook?
Where like you had
I
to
know
write.
how to write them, but I don't think I
Please.
ever
Was it
have.
blue? Was it the
What?
blue little checkbook?
What is a
Yes!
checkbook? Okay.
I hate
Because
checks. I need the money out of my account now. I don't need to wait two
He
weeks
has
for
Got
the
him
one.
right.
bank to
Look, he's showing
decide.
you guys a checkbook. Look.
Oh my God. He's older than Russell. You know that, right?
I'm sorry.
Russell, are you pulling
I
up a
got,
checkbook too, Russell?
got one right here.
That's the same as cash.
No.
I
You
got
know why? It's, they ask me
Doesn't
all the
it take
time when
3 days though for it to go through?
three, if you're
Don't
lucky.
take me 3 days to leave with my stuff. That was the original stealing it. You could take Michael Jordan on with your checkbook bouncing all those checks.
There you go. Check bounce. Mm.
Mm.
And sometimes it wasn't because it's no guaranteed time of when I remember, well, again, in my early 20s, barely any money. I had NSF because a check bounced where I wrote a check for like $4, and I'm like, I didn't track $4 from a month ago.
Right.
Like,
Mm.
Right.
insane.
Right.
Yep.
I'm
It's a
sorry, you
lost
wrote a
skill to
check
balance your
for $4?
checkbook, you know.
Did you forget a zero? What you mean you wrote a check
No,
for?
I need the money. Look, I pay my rent and money orders. I go to Food Lion. They go, why are you paying rent and orders? Because I need that money gone now.
Right.
I mean,
No.
I do the same thing.
I need
Mm.
it gone now. Not 3 days, not 4 days, not 5 days. I need it gone now.
Yeah.
Exactly, because as soon as that
Right.
rent is due, you probably didn't spend that money if you ain't already paid the bill. Like I got groceries, I got
I
my
can.
gas to put in my car.
Well, we got to work around that. If I've already paid the rent and it hasn't come out and I need to get groceries, I just know, like Jenny said, put different items under your. Wait, Jenny didn't say that. I'm sorry. I take that back.
That was Lynn.
Oh, Lynn said to
Put
scan the wrong item to get a discount. That's right. You're right, Russell.
Come on now.
You
Telling
were
all my
just,
secrets.
I got
just telling
nothing
us
but
how to
organic
do it.
vegetables.
put it on the bottom of the cart and keep going. No, 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 no.
Well, I want to ask everybody. I'm going to go first. I'm going to ask everybody, have you ever been accused of stealing and how did it turn out? The one time I was accused of stealing that really annoyed me is I went into this gas station and I had a pair of glasses, expensive sunglasses on my head. It was one of those travel gas stations. You know how they're huge? So
Uh,
as I'm walking out, she goes, Sir, did you pay for those glasses? I said, these are $600 sunglasses. I didn't get out of your stank ass gas station. And I just walked off. Have you ever been accused of stealing something? And if so, how did that go?
Mm-mm.
I
I
have.
think I was in middle school.
Mhm.
Got accused of stealing a popsicle.
That's when you got to say, "Where's the evidence at? You've already ate it, so it's gone."
No, she might not want to say that because she's talking to
I
her
did
tongue.
end up stealing
Was
it,
orange.
but I mean, still, it was a popsicle. Who cares?
And then her tongue is orange. Talking about where's the evidence?
Mhm.
right. Right. Well, I can say I've never been accused of stealing anything, but I've had some children that were around me that I was kind of mentoring, and we went into a store, and one of the children, I
Lynn
you
got a
know
whole ring of people.
I got a ring of people, but one of the kids, I knew they had a tendency to do some things, but I'm trying to work with them. And we got out the store, and the young child's one of the candy bars he had stolen fell out from underneath his jacket
Mm.
and fell on top of his shoe. And he tried to tell me, I didn't steal that. That was out here. I said, bro, it's on top of your shoe. That was
Hmm.
not on the
He
bottom of
slid
your
his foot
shoe.
under that candy bar.
Okay. I'm like, yeah. Let me just say, bro, you have just told on yourself.
Oh,
So
set that man up.
I made him go back
Uh,
into. I took him back into the. No, I didn't. I left the candy bar there and dragged him down the street, pulling his
I
hair.
don't believe this. I don't believe I'm the only one. And Jenny, when she was in middle school, that was have been accused of
I
stealing
have.
cigarettes. Oh, Ian.
I was walking out of it was a grocery store. I had two carts full of food. Is back when my kids were still both living at home and I was feeding teenage boys. You know, they don't eat that much, right? So
Said
I'm
nobody
walking out.
ever.
I had my receipt. I had put it into one of my bags. I had my shopping list that I wrote down on just a short piece of paper, right? And they thought that was my receipt. They stopped me. They were like, "We need to check your stuff." I was like, "That's fine, check it." And I was like, they wanted me to turn my pockets out and everything. I was like, "If
Gee,
you can show me one thing in this cart that's not paid for, I'll be more than happy to turn my pockets out." I reached into that bag. I pulled out my receipt and they looked at it and they did. They went through it, scanned it, checked it, and then they sent me on my way. But it turns out, I guess, there was somebody that was leaving through the other side that was stealing a boatload of stuff and must have been just as good looking as me because they
Ah,
damn near tackled me.
you got profiled, did
I
you?
got profiled and I was like, oh, yeah, check it away. You're wasting your time. And they checked my whole cart, saw that I hadn't stole anything. No apology, like you can go. I was like, I know I can go. But you know what? No apology. No, hey, sorry about the trouble. Nothing. Just you can go now. I was like, I know I can go.
I asked
Now,
for an apology when that happened to me, and the cop got snappy and said, "Do you want to get arrested for disorderly?"
For asking for an
wow.
apology.
I'm
Yes, I
like,
Yeah.
do.
okay, let me walk on. I see what today is. Let me walk on.
Now, I did have a situation that really, really offended me. I was leaving, at that time, I was smoking cigarettes and I'd gone to pick up a pack of cigarettes from a corner store. And I had gotten some change from a bank from a transaction earlier. And I hadn't paid attention to the money. And when I went to pay for the cigarettes and I got ready to pick up the cigarettes and walk out, they locked the door
Mm,
and wouldn't let me out. And they accused me of using counterfeit money. Now, I'm saying to myself, what are we talking about? I didn't know what, I hadn't paid attention to what I gave them, but I got accused of passing counterfeit dollars. And
mm,
it turns out I didn't know that I had been given counterfeit
mm,
money. So, but that was one of those. I come in here every so many days. You know me, you've never seen me shoplift or anything like that. And then all of a sudden you get one bill, and not only are you prepared to stop me, but you're going to lock me into the convenience store. Like, you can't go nowhere. I said, well, call the police, okay? Keep the cigarettes. You call the police. I'll be right outside.
They had to have been watching you though to do all of that. Like they weren't like
No,
they
I mean,
I
I
mean,
had
that's the tender is the thing. Yeah.
I mean, I had to get what I wanted from them through the glass. So they handed me the cigarettes, I gave them the money, and they decided. Next thing I know, I hear click click, they done locked the door and started talking about I was passing counterfeit money.
mm.
oh, wow.
Well, you do kind of look
no,
like
that's almost
BBI's.
kidnapped. No, thank you.
I do
Russ,
kind of look like what, Big Russ?
You got beady eyes. They're close together.
Hey, you don't say unkind words about women.
No.
This will not stand.
Thank you, Ian. Thank
You're
you
welcome.
much. All right.
Mhm.
So
stand
I,
for
yeah,
something for everything.
that's the closest I came to getting
Hmm.
locked up for stealing something or doing something illegal.
I feel like if
I
we
guess
stay
the
here
only
long
thing I
enough,
ever
because her stories are escalating. I feel like if we stay another hour, we're going to
We'll,
get to the time that she got locked up.
we'll finally get to the truth, right?
No, no, no,
That-
no.
That's why I'm keeping quiet. I'm keeping quiet because I had a point to where I was guilty but I was young. I was about like probably 17,
Mm.
and it was me and a group of my sisters and my and friends. We would go steal like little socks from Walmart,
Uh-oh.
and so yes, I've gotten caught stealing before, and they took me back to school. Like literally, they didn't even care about what I stole. They took whatever, and they took me back to school. But they could have took me to jail because I was with people who were stealing.
That's true.
Mm.
So but they took me back to school. It was the most embarrassing thing that I've ever in my life experienced because when I got to school, I was pulling up in a police car in the back of the police car, and everybody like, what happened? What happened? So then I had to tell my story. Well, we got caught stealing. Like, well, I was the only one. Everybody else got away. They ran, but I got caught. So
And the moral of that story was, I won't be doing that again, right?
never again, never again. I'm so afraid to even scan something wrong. So
No,
if
the
I go
moral of the story
to
was to be better.
scan, I'm making sure it's scanned
Right.
properly. Like,
Right.
The moral of
so
the story is to be better. I always got accused of stealing when I didn't steal, and I never got caught when I did
When
steal.
you did, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Now
And here's
see,
the part. Here's the dumb part. When I was a teenager, when I had the money, I stole something, and when I didn't have the
oh,
money,
you used to have the money and still did it. Yes, it was just what it was back in the day when we were growing up.
okay, hold on, Jenny. Listen, don't shake your head. What,
If
I'm
you
not
could get
saying
away
I
with
was
it.
a compulsive stealer. That was just a rabbit shoplifter. I stole like a pack of gum one day and then a toy another day, and that was it. Okay, so that
Yeah.
crime spree ended at two things. All right.
well, you could really consider that if you eat a grape when you're standing there in the grocery store to sample the grapes, there's a question of,
First of all, you need to stop that.
is that considered theft by taking?
First of all, that's a thing that older customers
Yeah,
made up. You're not supposed to taste test the produce in the food.
exactly.
Everyone's guilty of
Hold on. Now
grape
hold on.
or
Now
two.
hold on, because we need to highlight this real quick because I noticed it when we was doing the back checking in the video and everything. Tasting a grape is one thing, all right. But if you go to the pastry area and you decide to pick up that 4 pack of chocolate muffins and eat 3 out of the 4 and put it back,
No.
please go to jail. Don't go
Mhm.
past go. Do not collect $20. That is
The,
outrageous.
the only people I ever see
Please go to
testing and
jail.
tasting stuff in the aisles in the produce always are above a certain age. They're never 20. They're never 30 years old. Y'all are ridiculous.
Well, it's like I don't want to buy a bag of sour cherries.
Okay, but after the fourth strawberry, Lynn, either buy the pack or not.
Oh, okay, no, no,
Say that, right?
it would only be a grape or something.
No, my grandmother used to eat like 4 grapes and go, yeah, let's get this pack. I'm like,
Right. You say that, and I heard this story about this woman who tasted a grape, and she was like, "Okay, I'm gonna get these." And then she's going through the store doing the rest of her shopping. She just steady eating the grapes, eating the grapes, eating the grapes. But by the time she got up to the line and was ready to pay, the cashier was like, "This is empty. Did you grab the right one, or is there something else going on?" And she was like, "Oh my goodness, I didn't think I was doing it like that."
Charge me for those ones.
Right,
One
Right.
right.
ounce of
But
grapes.
but how much was the weight? Okay,
oh
because
Yes.
my
it's
God.
never that's
Right.
hilarious.
I
That's
can't.
hilarious.
If
Well,
you eat
guys,
a bag of grapes, your stomach be hurting.
it is a we're trying to be entertaining. We're laughing. It is a serious thing of it's kind of getting out of hand. The problem is people, majority of the people who are going in the store aren't stealing. So what happens is the majority is getting punished for the minority, and it should never be that way.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, it should never be that way where you have to wait. I literally waited 20 something minutes to get a stick of damn deodorant because I had to wait for somebody to come on. And then what if you need
Did
multiple
it
items?
pocket, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, you know, it's less enticing to steal when you're going through cashiers, even though you may have the problem of a cashier being in on it. And customers also have to do better. And for people who say customers have just started to go crazy, they're wrong. I'm 46. When I was 18, I worked at Publix and I got sent from cashiering to the bakery because this girl came to my line. That's when WIC checks were around. If y'all remember those,
Yeah,
Hmm.
I
you could
remember.
only get a certain amount of of food. Like you had to get a certain kind of cheese, certain kind
Mm-hmm.
of milk, and all that. Well, this one girl, every time she came, she always tried to get the expensive stuff. So she comes through my line because my friend turned her light off because she saw her coming. She comes
Mm.
to my line, and I'm like, "Ma'am, you cannot get the Sargento cheese. You have to get the whole cheddar. That's the only one you can get." She goes, "You're a moron."
Mm-hmm. Mm-mm.
I said, "I'm a moron. I'm 18 years old with a job. You're 19 and you have 4 kids. Who's the damn moron?" My manager said, "Stevens."
Yeah.
Right, right.
Moving out.
Get
You
over
couldn't
it.
even scan it. You couldn't even scan that kind of cheese, though, could you?
Mm-mm.
That
You
doesn't
can,
even make any sense to me
you
because who's the
no,
bigger moron? The
No, they
moron that's
scan everything, then you give them your WIC check, and
yeah, you
then you
scan
got
it
to
and
go
you give
through
it
and
to
fix
them.
everything.
But
Yeah.
my point of that
right.
story was going back to September about being in a position and having to handle that customers. First of
Mm-hmm.
all, you ain't gonna sit here at 19 with four kids and call me stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's not what's gonna happen.
Oh yeah. I can
So
only.
that's different, yeah. Because that's odd. Like, who's the bigger moron? The moron that's trying to bribe the off-brand of cheese, knowing good and well that this is a repeat occurrence, or the other moron trying to explain to the moron that you can't get that cheese?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Come on, Jackson. Now, I think that all around we've all got to do better because what one does wrong, as Keone just said, a small minority of people that are
Guys,
stealing are
I'm not
causing the
doing this.
problems for the rest of us. But
Yeah.
that's happening with everything. So we've got to be better as consumers, and some of the consumers have to be better in terms of their behavior. Otherwise, we're all paying the price.
Yep.
We're
Mm-hmm.
all paying the price for bad
Definitely.
behavior, whether it's customer service, whether it's theft, whether it's laziness, whether it's just, inconsideration. We're all paying a price.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
we
think
all got to get better.
it to be like how it used to be, to where like you really had a job to be able to provide to pay for the things that you have for. Now they're cutting away so many jobs, just like with the self checkout. The self checkout is, it's a lot of people that don't have a job because of that. Like you can go in a store and they'll literally have like 10 lanes, and the only thing is open is the self checkout. But if you were to hire more people, this store, and then the lines be all the way down to the next aisle, like 4 aisles down. So I think it's more of they need to go back into before COVID, before they didn't have the jobs at the self checkout. Like they had to have a certain amount of baggers, they had to have a certain amount of cashiers, they had to have a certain amount of managers. Like they need to go back to that, and I think they'll save a lot more money, and people wouldn't be so stressed out and not have money, and they can not steal.
Well, sometimes we've got, as Keone was back to talking about store managers that make decisions based on the processing at the store. We
Mhm.
gotta, sometimes I've gotten ready to go to self checkout because I thought it was going to be quicker. And then I realized the self checkout line was all the way down the aisle for people to get to 10 self checkout stations. And I'd look and see that one cashier that was open that didn't have anybody in her line and go, you know what, I'm going over here to the cashier. So at least we keep them realizing that there's justification to have the cashiers. Because
Mhm.
if we live in too much of a fast paced world where people think, self checkout is quicker.
The best way, right? Yeah. No,
And
I
and
still.
that's what we prefer. Quite
Yeah.
frankly, I'd love to just stand there and look and go, okay, I can pay for it now. Instead of making sure it's checked, going down the aisle, and then I got to bag it too. I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
You know what else
It's a
is
big
done?
inconvenience.
Our time.
Yeah, this episode. All right, everybody.
All
So
right.
our next episode, oh, we're gonna get a little political up in here.
Uh-oh.
Get a little political up in here. Are you tired of this two-party system? That's not the
Yes.
main topic, but he said yes. Episode over.
That
Yes. See you next time.
we're gonna we're gonna that's gonna be our whole episode next
Oh my
time.
goodness.
Lynn's gonna come on and she's gonna say, "Are we tired of the two-party system?" Everybody yell yes, and then we'll hit the outro and we'll be done.
And we'll go, that's a wrap.
That's my perspective.
Right.
All right, that's it. That's the show. Good night, everybody. Take care.
All right. Well, we'll get to talking politics next one. Russ, you were a chatterbox today.
Well, that's what you wanted, wasn't it?
I was being sarcastic.
He was being sarcastic.
So am I.
He was traumatized about arguing with the self checkout.
Well,
Right.
it was. I really had a problem with those bags today, and it just got
Oh,
me all
yeah.
flustered.
Just can't get right afterwards. Huh?
After the bags, he's like done with self checkout, right?
Oh, I was done with it already, but
Well,
like I said,
everybody,
the lines were lined up.
the
Right.
audience, we're going to leave you on some advice. Russell's advice is don't try to handle shopping bags after you've had a whole bottle of tequila. Thank you.
Uh-oh. All right.